The latest testimony out this morning from the Oscar Pistorius trial. It was another wrenching day in court for the Paralympic champ. ABC's Matt Gutman has been there for all of it in Pretoria, South Africa.
A day after we watched Pistorius losing control in the courtroom, his close friend Darren Fresco described him losing his temper on the road after being pulled over by police.
And without prior warning, he shot out the sunroof.
Guns the theme of the morning, and Pistorius' alleged recklessness with them. Pistorius had once mistakenly fired a round under the table at a restaurant.
Instantly, I passed the weapon back to me under the table, and he said, "Please, there's too much media hype around me at the moment."
And Fresco took the rap. We spoke to Fresco last year, still rattled by Pistorius' shooting of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp.
She was just always happy and smiling and always just had the most amazing outlook on life.
Earlier testimony from a pathologist indicated Pistorius' girlfriend had eaten just 2 hours before the shooting at about 1 a.m. when some neighbors testified they heard shouting, contradicting Pistorius' claim that the couple had harmoniously gone to bed early at 10 p.m. Far from it, says the prosecution. They argue the couple fought late into the night, with Steenkamp fleeing into the bathroom and locking the door. Pistorius, who was on his stumps that night, admits firing 4 shots into the bathroom. The testimony from that pathologist was deemed so graphic about Steenkamp's injuries that all video and audio was banned from the court. And with the cameras still rolling Monday, we watched Pistorius break down, then reaching for this bucket by his feet, vomiting and retching repeatedly. He spent much of the rest of the proceedings with this rag on his head. This is a country obsessed with this trial. Everybody's talking about Pistorius weeping and breaking down and, of course, getting sick in court yesterday. But today, a much more composed Pistorius. We saw almost no emotion from him at all. George.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Let's talk to Dan Abrams, our chief legal affairs anchor right now. And Dan, yesterday we were talking about this pathologist. You thought his testimony didn't seem all that important, but today, critical.
That's right, because previously we'd expected that this issue of did he have his prosthetic legs on was going to become crucial. And sort of the angle of the bullets and all of that was going to become a key issue to show premeditation, right? We thought that the prosecution was going to try to say put on his prosthetics. That would have taken time. That's premeditation. They've now abandoned that theory. And so we thought the pathologist would become a little bit less important. But there's that other issue, and that is, what time did she last eat? Why is that so crucial in a case like this? Because if he's saying they went to sleep at 10 p.m., and you have these other witnesses, these ear witnesses, hearing an argument, her eating later in conjunction with these ear and eye witnesses saying that they heard an argument could be devastating for Pistorius' defense.
And at the same time, the prosecution laying on all this evidence about Oscar Pistorius' temper and his trouble with guns.
Well, ordinarily in a case like this, you wouldn't be able to just say, hey, Oscar Pistorius is a dangerous guy. Look at these other cases where he's shot off weapons. But there are other specific charges here in connection with those shootings. And there's a firearms charge. And so it allows the prosecution to weave together this case that doesn't just say he committed this murder. It says this is a guy who has been at risk for years of doing something like this, and now he finally did. Even though they can't quite say it like that, they've got to sort of couch it within the framework of these other charges, but it allows them to present a case like that.
Saying that it's not a stretch. Okay.
Exactly.